Recall that in Access database we have related tables, and the types of relationships that the tables can have are a one-to-many, a one-to-one, or a many-to-many. In this video I want to discuss a many-to-many relationship. When the data in one table has many associated data in the next table, related table, that is a many-to-many. An example here is, here we have a table for authors. So this is going to list all the information about an author. We have a table for books. It's going to list all the tables for the books. An author can write many books, and the books can have many authors. So, in order to, most databases like Access don't support many-to-many relationships. So what we really need to do is, I like to call it as like a cheating. We have to create a one-to-many relationship. And this is called, we do this by creating a junction table that matches up the records. Now a junction table is going to consist of the primary key from both of the tables, and then you form the relationship from each table. So what we're doing is we're creating a many-many relationship into two one-to-many relationships. The problem with using two primary keys is you're not going to have an individual primary key field, but you're going to have a composite or a concatenate primary key. So let's just go through and show you an example. We have a child table here that lists the children. So we have many children here, and we have many guardians. Now a child could have none, one, or many guardians, and a guardian could have many children. So here we have a many-to-many relationship. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a junction table. So I'm going to come up here to create table design, and my first field name I'm going to take and call it child ID -FK, and it's just going to be a number field, and this must match the child ID field in the child table. I'm going to come down to my next field, and this is going to be called Guardian ID, and that is also going to be a number field, and this must match a Guardian ID in the Guardian table. Now, we have to set a composite primary key or a concatenate primary key. So what you want to do is you want to select both fields here and then click primary key, so that the unique identifier for each row means you're going to have a different child ID with a different guardian ID. We're going to go ahead and save this table, and we'll call it child guardian to match the two up. Let's match the child with the guardians. Okay. Now, what we want to do is we're going to come up here to our child ID. In order to make sure that someone doesn't type a child ID figure that is not in the child table, we can use the Lookup wizard to create a relationship between the two. So I'm going to come over here to data type, and I'm going to use my Lookup wizard, and I know my data stored in another table, so I'm going to look up, I want the field to get the values from the child table. So I'm going to make sure child table is selected, and I want to bring over the child ID, the child's first name and last name. I'm not going to bother to sort, but you could choose to sort if you want. Go to my next step. I'm not going to hide the key. I want the key child ID to be listed, okay, and then the first last name. All right, so I'm not going to hide that. I'll click Next, and now I'm going to store it in the child ID field. I want to enable data integrity to make sure that any record in child definitely matches the child ID in this table. And I'm going to restrict delete cascade. I'm going to go ahead and click Finish. Task to be saved. I'm going to go ahead and say yes. All right, so that took care of looking up the data from my child table. Now I want to do the exact same thing with my guardian ID. So I'm going to come down to Lookup Wizard. Again, I'm looking now not from the child table, but from the guardian table. So I'm going to choose the guardian table in which to look up. I'm just going to look up the guardian ID and click Next. I'm not going to bother to sort. It just shows my guardian ID. Again, I'm going to enable data integrity and have cascade delete. Not restrict, cascade delete. Click Finish. Again, it asks us to save the table. Okay, so let's go ahead and say yes. All right. Now, we saved this, so let's now go to Datasheet View. So, I'm going to enter some records. I'm just going to say I want child 1 is going to have guardian 2. I'm going to come down and say child 2 will have guardian 7. I'm just going to quick do a save. Now let's close this, and I want to take a look at the relationships that are formed. Okay. If you take a look, we have child ID here's our child and our guardian. That was the many-to-many relationship, and now we have one child to many child guardians, and we have one guardian to many childs, and that's how we can set this up. Let's go ahead and edit the relationship by right-clicking on it. Okay. And we want to enforce the cascade update related field and the cascade delete. And we'll update this relationship to enable the cascade update field too. So remember, updating your cascade updates, if the guardian ID changes in this guardian table from like 7 to 15, it will automatically change the number in the related table. And if a child ID is changed, it will automatically be changed to the child ID. So this is how to create a relationship. So we converted a many-to-many relationship into two one-to-many relationships.